There was a vote in the Senate last night, or I guess yesterday afternoon, to approve. It was, well, they rolled it in with the continuing resolution. So if you voted against this, you voted to defund the government. But some people were able to make that vote, and I think they were basically released by Harry Reid to vote against it. It's one of those just sort of like cowardly, like, really, you really going to roll it into this? But they did it, and it was an interesting. The vote was, well, aside from being somewhat, I guess, depressing, insofar as, yes, we are now funding, I don't know who, the good guys, supposedly.
Remember, we're only funding the moderates,
right?
Who are going to, in a magical Iron Man-like way, take on both the Assad regime. Radical or not radical? Yeah, they're radical, but they're also sort of authoritarian Shiites, as well as the radical, crazy, far right religious group of ISIS. And this magical group we're going to fund, whoever they are, and provide arms to. I'm sure we'll effectively be able to do that while not having anyone hand over arms to people that they will use against us eventually, and it will all work out well.
Yeah. Now this is bound to work. I mean, it's really, I don't know. It's just so I don't know, pathetic. But it was interesting as to who the nays were. There were 22 nays. They were more or less split in terms of Democrats and Republicans. Guy like Begich voted against it.
Yeah, some of the Western Democrats are more libertarian-esque states. Tester voted against it.
Sherrod Brown voted against it. You've got Cruz and Rand Paul, of course, voting against it. Pat Roberts in his race voted against it. Bernie Sanders voted against it. Elizabeth Warren voted against it, which is not something that I would have guessed, frankly. But I guess, both Massachusetts senators voted against it. Chris Murphy voted against it. Gillibrand voted
Basically, it was a
against
combination of sort of paleo-conservatives, progressives, and sort of those sort of libertarian-leaning states, it seems, were the ones who kind of joined. And on these kinds of things, that's often a coalition where you find yourself voting like in the same way as a Louis Gohmert, and you almost feel like you've now lost all ability to speak intelligently about anything. But even your Ted Cruz's and Louis Gohmerts can, for the wrong reasons, be right about something here and there. So.
Right, and so this vote passes. It is just there's no vote really authorizing any type of expanded airstrikes. Congress, both the House basically packed up and left Washington yesterday. The Senate is about to do the same thing, I think, in the next couple of days, and no one, I haven't read anything, and this is what's sort of shocking to me. The president sent notice on August 8th to the Congress under the War Powers Act saying that I am beginning to, provide air support for the Iraqis. And this is when he was, when we were bombing to protect or to support the protection of Erbil, the Yazidis on that mountaintop, and around the Mosul Dam. And supposedly, 90 days, right? He's supposed to come, 60 days. He's supposed to be back at the Senate and the House on October 7th. Nobody's going to be there.
Oops. And I mean, still we're arguing in terms of, this is for funding this thing, right? So still we're arguing, if I understand this correctly, for the ability to do this under the authorization to use military force.
Well, he's claiming that. The president's claiming that for the bombing. I mean, in terms of arming the Syrian rebels, we just got authorization to do it. That's it. I mean,
that's what we just voted on. Right. What I'm saying is, though, our engagement there militarily is we're basing on that. And of course, that's what Bush based his invasion of Iraq on, and that was plainly illegal to begin with, because the AUMF, what it spoke to was anybody who either was connected and a part of 9/11 or harbored those. Well, that was not Iraq, clearly. So we made that mistake once, and now we're using that as a justification to go in here when there's, again, ISIS may be terrible, terrible people, and they clearly are, but I understand. I'm not going to take anybody seriously on the right who's just using this to score points, but people that are sort of objective observers, or those on the left who point this out, I mean, how can you use that to justify what we're doing?
Right.
And the worry is the precedent you keep setting for future presidents.
Exactly.